Stack, Sip, and Spill. I'm Reagan.
And I'm Cherie.
And today we are going to first update you on some episodes for the future. And then we're going to get on to our episode. We have been planning this one for a little bit, mainly because we talk about it constantly. And that is Iggy's on vacation, traveling with your Italian Greyhounds, boarding, leaving them at home, all the stuff about vacations. But first, Cherie, what are you sipping on tonight?
My voice is almost gone. We've got choir concert this week, so I am sipping on my trusty Earl Grey. I am an Earl Grey snob, so for those of you out there who like Earl Grey, I recommend the Harney and Sons. And that was my last bag, so I'll just go cry after this. That's fine.
Oh. So I am sipping on a Red's Wicked Apple Ale because, yeah, I took today off to get some things done because it's spring break and um, I'm I'm full time employee at the college I work at. So we're still working this week, but nothing was happening, and I was like, well, I've got to get some stuff done, so I'm going to take a vacation day. I've got some hours built up, so I did. So I've just been chilling all day. Um, so updating on episodes. I'm sure some of you have probably noticed last week and maybe this week too, been a little slow and quiet.
Thanks, Mom. Thanks for noticing. Like Will Alexander says, my mom listens.
Yeah. We we have been getting super busy lately and haven't had time to record, and when we have, we've either not felt great, had headaches. We're just like, we'll do it tomorrow night. And then tomorrow night rolls around and now I've got a headache or Cherie's got a headache. So things
Getting
have
towards the
just
end of
been
school,
happening.
yeah.
Yeah. So I think what we've decided to do until maybe later, maybe the summertime when we get a little bit more time to record more, um, we'll change it up some. We're just going to go with the flow for now, and we're going to start releasing episodes every other week, and they are going to be full length episodes. So, like 45 minutes to an hour, we'll just talk through it and see how it goes. Um, so, look forward to this episode, should come out. Are we going to do Monday?
Yes, when you're hearing this, I'm in Disney World. So
Yeah.
maybe I should change that. I should by now hopefully be sipping on a Dole Whip float.
Yes. Have one for me. Hey, I could actually go into town and get one and we could have one at the same time because we have a place that sells that. So,
No, 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 doesn't count. Doesn't count. Doesn't count.
well, okay, so there's our update. Every other week we're gonna put out episodes, and then maybe every once in a while, if we get a wild hair, we're like, hey, let's put an extra little episode out, or maybe we'll do bonus episodes or something on Instagram. I don't know. We haven't talked about
Believe
it.
it
We're
or
just going with
not,
the flow.
we do have lives.
Yeah, we've got work. And also there's really not a lot going on with us right now either other than work. Like
Yep.
no shows or anything.
We're in that weird dead time.
Yeah, my next show isn't until May, so maybe by then we'll have some extra stuff to talk about, but right now we're pretty boring. Okay, so you're probably going to be hearing me talk a lot in this episode because Cherie's trying to rest her voice a little bit, but also I have a lot of stuff to go over. Because the first thing we're going to talk about is leaving your pet at home while you're on vacation. And my number one for that is creating a dog emergency folder. I always have one on me, even when I'm traveling, but especially when I am gone on vacations. And Cherie, if anytime anything comes up, just interject, okay?
Okay.
So I'm going to kind of go over what's in my little emergency packet. I print it out and I leave it. Normally, I'm lucky enough to either have my mom or my grandmother around to watch Barry. So if I go out of town, they already know the drill, but still, I like to leave that information for them. So my big, let's see, how many pages is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pages, but 3 of them are pictures. So I like to include pictures of Barry's face, full body, and full body from the front. Because if, God forbid, anything were to happen and missing posters had to be made, I need full colored printed photos of Barry for people to see his markings and what he looks like full body. So,
That is so smart.
um, it's kind of awful to think about, but I want to be prepared. Um,
But now that you've done it, you don't have to think about it.
exactly,
Like that
yes.
helps.
And I do update as the years go on too, with all the trips I go on, because obviously as Barry gets older, new things come up, or he might gray a little bit more. So I do update them. But basic information, so Barry's name, the breed, what day he was born. I do include that he's an intact male, and then I include his microchip number, AKC number, which not really necessary, but I put it down anyway. And then his color and how much he weighs. And then in all caps, I said, do not let Barry run off leash at all. He will run and you will not catch him. Always keep a martingale collar on him to grab and attach the leash to, if not owner or emergency contacts. So my emergency contacts are my grandmother and my mom. So anyone other than him, this is what you need to do.
I always leave the martingale on, and I make sure. So y'all know I love Tractive GPS. When you are using your at-home Wi-Fi. So if Lucky's hanging out at home most of the time, that should last for 7 days. So I make sure that sucker is fully charged because I know my mom's not gonna be able to get off of him. I don't let her take it on or off. Like it just stays on. They just that's it. No risk.
And so I actually bought a breakaway collar, just a simple little collar, and had his name and my contact info engraved on the snap. So I don't like leaving martingales on him in the house, or like if we're in the hotel or something, because I'm always afraid he's going to itch and get his leg caught in the loop. So I do have the breakaway that I might leave on him again once, because I didn't have it on the last trip I went to, but might leave that on him. But I do have martingale collars only in caps on my emergency info.
Another thing that Lucky has on his underneath his Tractive is a boomerang tag. You know what I'm talking about?
I
You
don't
can
think
get them on
so.
Amazon. They're metal. They have a little bit of a curve,
Hmm.
and you can get them engraved. I want to say it was like $7 or $8. So it fits on the curve very nicely. You just order it according to the width of whatever collar it is, and you can slip it on and off. You know, it's got like a little notch where you're able to slip it, and that is snug and it stays put. And that way you can have it engraved on there with no tags hanging. If you don't have like an actual
Yeah,
engraved, yeah.
yeah.
I'll have to show it to you.
Um,
I like them. That was Mr. Terry's suggestion, and it's great.
nice. I'll have to look those up. So I also included on here kind of just Barry's general, um, like what he's like. Because I did say he's very shy and he's a flight risk. He doesn't like strangers, loud noises, or cars. He may limp due to a previous leg break that he's had. We can talk about that in a later episode. We'll probably have to touch on leg breaks at some point, so I'll wait for that story. Um, I did say he knows obedience, but he will probably ignore you unless you are the owner. Um, and he's not aggressive unless he's injured. He will possibly hold his pee and poop if staying away from home, like in a vet clinic, because he's done that before. And he's very sensitive and most happy with me, his owner. I said he also loves heating pads and blankets, and he'll probably want to burrow, so give him plenty of blankets, however many he wants. And he looks like a miniature greyhound, because that's what people think of when they see Italian greyhounds. Oh, is that a miniature? Not really, but yeah, sure. It's just easier. Um,
And then we refer them to our history of the Italian Greyhound episode.
yeah.
It's Texas.
I also include medical information, like that he's had 2 previous leg breaks and that he has a plate and screw in his leg. At the time when I wrote this, he was taking medication for arthritis because it was in the colder months. So I did include that on there. I also included that he has taken Rimadyl before in the past, which is good for you to let vets know when they go in for some kind of anesthesia, because I don't know the science behind it, but just put that, make sure if they have taken Rimadyl before that it's in their medical history information. Um, no known allergies to medications. He's up to date on shots. I also include his shot record with this emergency info, and then told whoever is looking at this info to review anesthesia for sight hounds because they do have particular needs. On the next page, I told you I'm going to go in depth with this because I think it's important. I include his veterinarian, where they're located, phone number, an email if they had one listed, and then because I used a different vet for surgeries, I included their information as well. Um, and then I have a personal friend that is a vet that has Italian Greyhounds too, so I included her phone number, work and cell, in case whatever vet just was not sure or about the situation for treatment, they could call.
Do you have listed in there the nearest 24-hour emergency vet?
I do not, but I know exactly where it's at.
Yeah, so that's we are we're lucky. Our 24-hour vet is literally 5 minutes away.
Yeah,
So yeah, you always want to list that because I mean, if it's middle of the night, some places, no matter what, won't open up.
yeah, and really, I've never planned on anyone watching him other than my grandmother or my mom. And if they absolutely could not watch him, I would probably call my vet friend and see if she could watch him, or he would
Yeah,
go get treated at the vet clinic because then he's there if something were to happen. So, my mom and grandma both know where that emergency clinic is. So I just didn't include it because of that reason, but that would be something good to add. Yes.
that's always good to know. Oh, and another thing for y'all, if any of you are AKC pet insurance customers or have a Chewy subscription of any sort, both of those come with a free. It's not 24-hour, but a free like vet chat. So here's my side story to help pad our 1 hour time here. It was Thanksgiving, and Elle, my Great Dane, had gotten a hold of a chicken bone.
Oh
And I was
Lord.
like, I know that it's okay. I'm pretty sure it all came. If she got a hold of a chicken leg, and then we got it all from her. It looked like the whole bone was there, and I just got on there for the little chat, and I was like, is this an emergency? If anything happens, should I just wait for it to pass? And they just went through like, all right, well, it was what kind of bone? Okay, so most of it's in there. Did she have this? Did she have that? They're like, all right, well then you should be good. And then if this was the chewy one that I used, and then in a few days that same vet messaged again. We hope everything went okay. Let us know if you need anything.
Well,
Hope
that's good.
Elle was fine after her bone. Like I was like, I like that so much. So yeah, that's free to AKC Pet Insurance and Chewy subscription members.
That's cool. So, next on my list, of course, I included my information like phone number, email, address, that kind of stuff, and then my emergency caregivers if I was not available. And then I also put a statement down in the bottom that this person or this person may make decisions in regards to Barry's health and well being in case of emergencies, because I've seen that come up before. So, and then I also said, unless seriously injured and neuter being necessary, do not neuter. So, just having a statement in there saying that this person is allowed to make decisions regarding your dog, that would be helpful. And then, of course, last page before all the pictures, diet and feeding information. So I go over what Barry's eating, how often he's eating, around what time of day, I try to be flexible with time. Like I normally go for like 6:30 to 7, but if it goes over or it's early, like he doesn't care. But and then if he's in a situation where he's going to maybe stay at the vet, or he's just not eating like he should, he often refuses to eat for people if it's not me or my mom. Um, or if it's been a few days and he knows that I'm not coming home anytime soon, he will retaliate and refuse to eat. So then I say, if you need to go get cooked chicken or chicken nuggets or a hamburger and give him the beef,
I
you can.
was about to say, did you put in a map to Mr. Freddy's? I
Yeah,
was
yeah,
gonna say that.
yep. And I said, you can offer a little cheese if you need to, whatever you need to do to get him to eat, do it.
So funny.
Yep. So, and then if he was on medication, like at this time, I said you would have to hide it in food, and probably have to try a few times because he knows in the morning he was getting medicine. So, there's that. That is what is in my dog emergency packet. In my folder, though, I do include like the last few receipts that I have from my vet, because they always say at the bottom what shots or immunizations he's had lately, or testing like heartworm, and that sort of stuff. So I always keep that in there. And then I also carry this whole folder with me when I travel with him. So when we go to dog shows, I keep it in my bag, and I actually take it in with me at dog shows. So if God forbid anything would happen and people came up to me and were like, so your dog may have coughed just a little bit, what immunizations have they had? I would have that on hand. So
You are you are miles ahead of most of us at the dog shows. We're like, you know,
they're like, have they had that? Yeah, I think so.
when was that? Not too long ago.
Yeah. Yeah. So I try to stay on top of that kind of stuff because I like to be prepared. So definitely go ahead and get an emergency folder put together. Maybe I should create some kind of a template
I
and
wasn't gonna say it, but that would be another Reagan blessing to the world.
yeah, the stack sip spill template for the emergency folder. Maybe I need to do that. I do have Canva, so yes, like worksheets, stack sip spill worksheets.
Particularly for taking when we get to talking about flying. Yeah, that thing for sure.
So we're gonna get right into, well, let's just say more into what you should do or think of when leaving your pet at home. So if you're going on vacation, Barry's gonna be at home with someone. I'm gonna be away. I definitely am going to prep food ahead of time, because even though I say only like a cup in the morning, a cup at night, it's just easier for me to go ahead and section everything out into Ziploc so she can just dump and go. Um, and a lot of times, too, Barry will sometimes only eat a little bit in the morning and then eat a ton in the afternoon. Um, and sometimes I have to switch up toppers. So it's just easy for me to prep all of that and her not have to just guess on how much of this topper he gets and how much of this topper he gets. I just dump it all in there, and she can pour it in his bowl and add hot water. So um, I also leave detailed instructions on his routine. I mean, it's not a full set routine for him, but Lucky said, "Yeah, food, food. Give me
He
food
is
now."
on to something.
Lucky. But I also write out kind of like a routine, or like Barry only gets this at night and this in the morning. Just so she doesn't have to guess and be like, "Well, I don't know what time she's feeding Barry. I don't know how much she's feeding Barry. When does he go outside? Do I expect him to poop after he eats dinner, or is he just appear after dinner?" So I include that. And if he has any medications, I leave that out and I label them, tell them what time of day Barry gets the medication. I also leave tramadol out, which is a painkiller, pretty hefty one. It's something that I only give if something really bad were to happen. So I always keep that on hand in case of leg breaks, um, or really bad injuries, because you can break one in half and give it to the dog, and within a couple of minutes they're relaxed enough for you to get them to the emergency room or the vet. And you'll just have to tell the vet, hey, I gave them how many milligrams of tramadol. But I always keep tramadol on hand. So I'll leave that out in case they need to use it. Hopefully they don't. Treats, obviously, I leave those out so they don't have to go search for them. And then I also prepare a potty area in the garage for night walks. My mom doesn't really worry about it much because obviously we used to live together, and like she's being with Barry is normal for her. But for my grandmother, she does not like night walks with Barry because Barry is a little darker to see outside. We do have lights, but still, she doesn't know his routine or know like he goes in this back corner. So it just makes her feel better to just take him on the garage and he goes and does his business in that little potty area. So um, I
I
have
think
that
in
for
general with small dogs, that way they don't have to worry about any kind of predators too.
that too. Yeah.
Period. You don't worry about cars, you don't worry about predators. Make life for the person watching them as easy as possible.
Yes. And I mean, I do it all the time too. I'll let him go out on the garage if I don't feel like checking outside and making sure there aren't any rabbits in the backyard. That's what I have to worry about this time of year. We always have rabbits in our backyard. And guess what happens when there's a rabbit back there? Can't get them to come in. Potty area. And then make sure whoever is watching your dog that they understand these dogs are flight risk. If you open the door and leave it open, they're going to run out and you are not going to catch them. You have to be careful about shutting doors, locking them, making sure, like, we have our door out to the garage, that if the garage is open and the back door gets opened, if that door to the garage wasn't shut completely, it will open all the way because the back door opened and the air fluctuated through the house. So you just have to remember that. Make sure they're aware of the flight risk. Um, both of us are lucky to have family members that understand IGs, and we don't really have to worry as much because they know, they're used to them. But I know there are still a lot of people that have to board their IGs or hire someone to come in and watch them. Definitely maybe check out and see if there are other IG owners in your area that would not mind watching an extra IG for a week or so because they know and your dog would be around another IG. Or even reach out to breeders that are around you in your state. They may have recommendations on dog sitters too.
Yep, the first time that we went to Disney when we had Lucky, I remember Daniel was like, "Well, who are you?" How did he say? It was something like, "Oh, who's going to be watching him?" And I could tell it was kind of like, "Do you need help with that? Like,
Yeah.
would you want to pop by here?" And I was like, "My mom's going to watch him." Oh, okay, okay, that's good. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I added to this list to go ahead and puppy proof, even if you think your dog knows everything well. Like Lucky, he has the space, he knows everything, but we are still gonna, also because Ben's gonna be over here, but we are gonna like puppy proof again because when they're under stress, all kinds of things can happen. Things that he normally would never chew on, he might. I mean, we're gonna like deep vacuum everything, move all the pine, just like everything. Um, Give baby gates. If you don't have baby gates, it's really great for the person watching them to be able to easily block off stuff, even if it's a space that they normally go into. That person might just be like, I'm not dealing with that. Let's keep them away from them. And the pet cam. Y'all know I love a pet cam.
Oh yeah.
It can help, not just, that person, you might want to give them your login for that chance. I mean, especially if it's like someone you know really well, you might want to give them access to it. But it's going to make you feel better too. If you can just pop in and just see, oh, they're fine. Okay, I pop back out. You know, But if they are worried that something might have happened, go back and check that pet cam. Did they get a hold of anything? You can also, if they did get something, you can go back and see what it was. When did it happen?
Yeah, so kind of next shifting gears just a little bit. Still going on vacation, still not taking your Iggy, but you were trying to board them. Um, and
Who are these people
this,
that don't take their Iggies? Ah,
I know, right?
what?
And what I'm about to go over doesn't just have to be about Italian Greyhounds, because the original post that I was going to make about dog boarding was just sight hounds in general. So you could pair this for any kind of dog, actually. Um, Anytime you go and board your dog, they're going to want proof of vaccinations, shot records, and any important health information. Make sure your dog is up to date on Bordatello. Um, all of those necessary shots, because you don't want to come home to a sick dog. It's no fun, and it's no fun for the dog either. Um, when I boarded my border collie, I left potty and food schedule. I brought food with them, or for them, I mean, and a dog bed and a blanket. I also brought a toy. Now, the place I boarded my border collie at, they had a run set up for her, and she had her own little area and didn't have to go be around any other dogs. Um, and there are some places that are like, no, we have blankets and beds. And they're like, you don't have to bring all that. So it's kind of up to you. It's what you want to do. When you go talk to them for a little visit, you'll kind of gauge what all you need to bring, and kind of get a better idea. But I definitely let them know on a food and potty schedule.
You were saying with the a lot of times they have blankets and beds. What happened one time when Dolce had to stay at the vet? I guess would have been considered a medical boarding when it was for her kidney disease. They said, don't feel like you need to bring this because the laundry gets so mixed up, you might not get it back.
Yeah.
So sometimes that happens. And I was like, that's fine. If it gets lost, it gets lost. But I would at least suggest grabbing a ratty old t shirt of something of yours that has your human scent on it, right? Just know some stuff happens. Sometimes it might get messed up, might get mixed up. But if you can't give them their own everything they're used to, even just a little bit of your smell can be really comforting.
Or what you can do, obviously, most people, when they're going to board their dog, they're going to know ahead of time, I'm going to be going on a trip next month. Maybe go ahead and buy a cheap little blanket from
Mhm.
Walmart that are like $5, and start sleeping with that, and let them get comfortable with it, and
Yeah.
just take it. That's their boarding blanket. If it gets lost, it gets lost.
Reagan's infamous baby blankets from Marshall's.
Oh, yeah. We love baby blankets. They're great. Always make sure wherever you're boarding your dog, they have proper, like adequate fenced in areas. That should be a given, but things happen and people lie. So maybe just go check that out. Check out the locks and everything, and be like, hey, can I just look around the area? They should not care. And if they do, they're probably hiding something. Um,
If anything, they're going to be happy that you're the kind of customer who cares that much. Truthfully,
yes,
yeah.
yes.
Dog
Yeah.
people know dog
Um,
people, and they'll be like, "Ugh,
mhm.
we're just so glad you cared this much."
Yeah. Um, Also, leave your vet contact information. If something were to happen, maybe your dog has an allergic reaction, or if they have a medication they have a question about, they can call your vet and ask them about the dog, or take your dog in, or whatever needs to happen. If you are taking a small dog, even if your dog is friendly with big dogs and you were like, no, they're fine, maybe don't encourage them to allow your small dog in with large breeds, because your dog will act right, but you can't be sure other dogs are going to act nicely towards your small dog, especially if they are prey driven dogs. um, I've heard lots of stories about Italian Greyhounds and large breed dogs having run ins because they're playing, and then all of a sudden they're like, ooh, prey. And they go after, and your little dog gets hurt. So you don't want that to happen, and you come back from vacation and you're like, oh, actually, something happened to your dog. Let's come in and talk about it. You don't want to have that conversation. Or even that call. Can you imagine being on vacation and getting a call about something like that? No. Go ahead and have that conversation with them and be like, let's just keep small dogs if you're going to let other dogs mingle around mine. Um, Also, make sure the facility knows about sight hound tendencies. We said that with pet sitters as well. But just make sure they know, yeah, they're friendly, but they are flight risk. If they see a squirrel outside and the door's open, guess what's going to happen? They're gone. So just make sure they know about tendencies of these breeds and know that IGs love blankets and they're probably going to want blankets or they might get cold, stuff like that. So
Just remind them this is not a dog. This is a cat. That's all I'm saying. Hey, it's
yeah,
really a cat. You're not going to be able to catch them. They're not going
yeah.
to want anything to do with you sometimes when they're stressed out. That's just treat them like a cat.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is a
Yeah.
hashtag, actually. Iggy's are cats.
Well,
It's
they
already a
kind of
hashtag.
are.
It is.
Moving on, we're going on vacation still, but we're taking our Iggy this time. So Barry, Lucky, and Ben are all coming with us.
Like to a dog show. Oh, wait, you said
Yeah.
vacation. Never mind. Oh,
Well, that can
vacation.
also that can also be vacation. That's going to be my vacations this year. So, obviously, main thing, bring food, bring treats, a bowl for
More
water.
than enough food. More than
Yeah,
enough food.
yeah. And most of the time, we don't even go through all the food because guess what? We have picky eaters.
Well, what I find happens, well, not so much since we have been now, because as soon as there's two of them together, like, I'm going to eat it before you get it. But you would like, well, let's put the topper on it. Well, let's get it wet. Well, now that's been sitting out too long. It's not any good. Let's throw it away. Get out fresh food. So that
Yeah.
happens sometimes too.
I also bring, obviously, you're going to have an extra bowl for water. But I like to bring water in bottles.
I do too.
Um,
You
or
never know if there's going to be a boil water notice. You never know if you just need water in the car, if your car breaks down or something.
Barry has always been really picky with water. He's gotten better over the years. Like he's
We
become a better water drinker, but he's also a water snob like me. So we like particular brands. We like spring water. So I bring my own water, and he's not drinking out of the tap at a
we
hotel.
are
No.
such Iggy moms. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
If I'm staying in a Quality Inn for a dog show, he is not drinking the water from their taps.
But like, even if it was good, like, I don't trust, because you never know if there was a boil water notice 2 days ago.
Hmm.
We're not going to get alerts that there's a boil water notice. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't want also their tummies to be like, oh, this has got completely different stuff in it than the one that we're used to.
Mm-mm.
But then again, I also give my dogs water out of the refrigerator filter. So what am I talking about? I should just shut up. I do it
Okay, so
too.
I bring baby wipes too, obviously, because I have a little boy that likes to pee on his chest and legs, but you never know when you're going to need baby wipes too. So,
I
like if
used to
they
bring them
make a
with Dolce
mess,
too, all the time.
yeah, if they make a mess on the floor or they get mud on them or
Poopy
something,
butts,
yeah,
poopy,
yeah.
nasty feet.
So baby wipes. I also bring tramadol. So if something were to happen, accident, leg break, I don't know, lots of different things could happen. I have tramadol there with me. So when I'm looking for an emergency vet around me, he could be chilling out with tramadol. Um, I also bring relaxation cookies. Those are for dogs, not humans. Um, the ones that I use are Heavenly Hounds. I think it's some type of flower in there. I don't remember. It's not CBD though, even though I do call it CBD cookies. It's just a relaxation cookie. They're peanut butter flavored. They smell really good too.
Um, Lucky really liked his, and they last. They stay fresh. Like I
Yes.
still have some of his left, believe it or not. And I was like, this thing has not dried out yet. I was really
Mm-hmm.
impressed.
I also bring either an X pen, exercise pen, or one of the soft collapsible pens because I line it with disposable potty pads. That way, I don't have to take Barry out in a strange area that I'm not familiar with, and he's not going to go do his business outside, especially if he's not familiar with it and if it's really busy. So it's just easier for me to set up something in the room and clean up after he goes in there to keep the smell and the cleanliness and everything.
I'm gonna jump on that disposable pad thing. So I live in a hurricane zone, and that is also something we always grab because it has happened before when I had Dolce, where we were evacuating and it was so backed up on the interstate. We had to literally put a potty pad down on the floor of the car to let her potty because it was just backed up. It was, and she wouldn't go like out on the side of the road with all these cars passing by.
Yeah.
And I could tell that baby had to go.
Yeah.
I think we even did it once in the airport when there was no like potty station, and I was like, "Look, we just put that down in the family bathroom," and she was like, "Oh, thank you very much."
Mm-hmm.
Yes, take them even if you're not, even if you have a dog who is not necessarily trained to use them, you might end up needing them.
And also, they're great for cleaning up spills too,
Oh yeah, clean up a
like
spill, or like you
like a
said, you put
daiquiri,
under a
maybe.
kennel or whatever. Oh,
Maybe.
well, you know, if they have an accident in their kennel, drop a
Yeah.
daiquiri.
So along with the potty area, I also bring little clips, like the little chip clips that you get from the store, because you have to put the pads up somehow for the boys on the side of the pen so they can hike. Um,
Sides, hike.
what? Yeah, I don't have a leaner. Along with the potty situation, we also have belly bands on us always. Duh. Even if your dogs are not markers, you never know when a smell might strike their fancy and they're like, oh, I think this might be my territory now. I'm going to mark. But also, sometimes they dribble at night and you just don't notice it. And if I'm staying in a hotel with complete white sheets, he's going to wear a belly band. You never know what's going to happen with little boys. Um, we also, when I was going to shows with my breeder and we had girls with us, we carried diapers or like little panties for them because, believe it or not, girl dogs are markers too.
Oh, just as much. Just as much, yeah.
Oh, yeah. They will back right up and mark. So
Mm-hmm.
they had their own belly bands that were panties or diapers.
Dolce would have done that too. 100%.
And we're just going to go straight down the potty list. Next up is poop bags.
Poop bags come in varieties of quality, people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, I have about 60, not poop bags, but 60 like rolls of poop, useless, that just disintegrate.
Yeah.
You got to get some good ones.
And poop bags are not just for dog poop, too. Like if you have trash or a lot of times if Barry doesn't eat all of his breakfast and we're leaving that day and I have to get rid of his food, I can put it in that, tie it up, and throw it out. Don't put it down the sink. Don't put it down the toilet. It stops stuff up. Put it in the trash. Yes. And I also, later on down the list, I included plastic bags too, but I've used extra plastic bags for stuff, but you can also use poop bags. So either or. Um, and then urine cleaner. If you know you have a dog that has accidents, maybe just go ahead and bring some cleaner with you and a towel or a wash rag or something. So you have it there in case they do have an accident, or even just some deodorizer. I used to bring deodorizer with me because after a full week of shows or something and you're in a room, it's going to smell like a dog in there. So just spray that before you leave and check out. So
Just thought about you could get your enzymatic urine cleaner. Pour some in one of the little empty travel size bottles from like Walmart.
yep.
I'm gonna have to do that for my dog show bag.
One of my favorite brands is Angry Orange. It smells so good. They have a cleaner and a deodorizer, and I'm going to reach out to them about my project and see if they will donate a basket or something.
Angry Orange, I have a really hard time finding that. It is great, but I have a hard time finding it anymore.
They sell it at Target. Sometimes you can find it at Marshall's, and I think Walmart just started carrying it too around here.
Okay.
So it's pretty good. And I do put it in my carpet cleaners too sometimes because you're really supposed to add water to some of it because it's so concentrated, and
Yeah.
but
We
I
like
don't.
the Nature's Miracle laundry additive
Yeah.
a lot. Throw that in there with those pee pads and they come out nice and fresh.
I also always have a packet of pumpkin on me. My local pet store has little pumpkins in packets, so it's easy to pack. I don't like carry around a huge can with me or anything. They're just little dog packets of pumpkins, so if someone gets an upset stomach, I can just take it out, tear off the top, and give them some pumpkin. Um, and I also leave that at home too all the time. I always have some on hand. Treats, obviously.
He won't eat pumpkin much at all. I don't know if Ben does or not, but we always keep a syringe. I say syringe. It's really like a tube. Think like a caulk tube of
Hmm.
propectolin, and you can get that at your vet. It's basically like kaopectate for dogs. And if they've got that jelly poop or something's not quite right, it's got the CCs on there. You just dial it into the right amount. That thing doesn't expire for like 3 years or 5 years. It's a ridiculous length of time. It does not expire, so you can always have it on hand. It doesn't have to be refrigerated or anything. So that we usually keep with us because the pumpkin ain't gonna cut it.
Yeah, Barry doesn't eat pumpkin either, so I have to trick him to eat it. Um, if I'm at home and I have bread, I will toast some bread, like really not like completely burnt, but you want it dark. And I will put that on there and crumble it up so then he can't pick it out. Um,
Oh,
and then I've mixed it and stuff before. So if he had been having stomach trouble for a few days and I made him something like chicken and rice, I would put it in with that. So I can trick him to eat pumpkin. Or I can just put it on my finger and make him eat it and put it in his mouth. Obviously bring treats with you. I normally bring like two different kinds, and then if we're at dog shows, I'll pick up treats too, obviously, or chewies. I also carry that breakaway collar with the contact info. We talked about that earlier. And dog shampoo. I always carry dog shampoo with me because you never know if they're going to start getting stinky. Maybe they peed on themselves a few times and you forgot to wipe them off.
rolled in somebody else's stuff.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Or sometimes they just get stinky and they need a shower or a bath. So, dog shampoo, I always have a little bitty container of that.
People
Sweaters,
say dogs don't sweat. I'm like, that's malarkey.
yeah, Barry
That,
does.
yeah, they totally do a little bit. They totally do.
Um, Sweaters and jammies. I normally carry a light sweater and then jammies with the front legs. So I carry two depending on, the venue we're in. I can change them out if he gets hot or not. So, and then a blanket, baby blanket preferably, but I also bring a normal size blanket too because he likes to sleep under them and I don't let him sleep under the covers that I'm sleeping under. It's just weird. So his hair irritates my skin sometimes, so I just don't let him go under all those covers and also because he gets too hot.
Ben's hair irritates Lucky. I mean, Ben's hair irritates Brent's arms.
Yeah.
And Elle's did too. And, Lucky's is like super, super smooth.
Hmm.
Like, he's exceptionally smooth. But Ben's head and his kisses and stuff don't irritate him. Because at first Brent thought he was allergic. I was like, I think it's really the pointiness
Yeah.
of his particular coat pokes him.
Yeah, that's what
So
Barry
that's
does to
another
me.
reason I'll put a shirt on Ben as soon as he gets here. Because then it doesn't bother Brent's. I was like, if he can kiss you, you're not allergic to him.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just, I think when he picks him up and carries him, it pokes him in the arm.
Yeah, if Barry rubs on me for a long time or gives me
Yeah.
hugs or something, my neck will kind of break out for a few minutes. But
I
that's
swear
pretty
it's
much it.
just the pokies. I'll have to tell Brent that. He'll feel better
Yeah.
about it.
So I also always have carabiners on me, so the little clips that you can put stuff together with. But I use them on crates on the doors. Barry's dad was an escape artist, so I don't know if he passed that on to Barry or not. I believe he did. I would rather not test that theory out, so I just go ahead and put carabiners on any of the doors that are on the crate, so he can't get out.
That helped us in Louisiana.
Oh
There was
yeah,
one
because
where I thought it was closed and the carabiner caught it and it was my fault. Yeah.
yep, yep.
Ben would have been like, woohoo!
If you are able to bring your pet camera with you, you can hook that up in the room too. I brought one with me for Alexandria, and my pet cam has had some issues with it, so I wasn't sure if it was going to work. But if it would have, it would have been great because you can just literally plug it in and check on your dog when you're out, maybe getting dinner or something. Also, crate your dogs when you're not in the room, but that's another thing. But you can bring your pet cam with you. That could be something you can think about doing. And then toys, of course. They're gonna have something to play with.
So I added to mine a first aid kit. We've talked about that. We have that in our show bag, but it's pretty close to the same first aid kit for human, right? Yeah, dogs can use Neosporin, Band-Aids, vet wrap. We call it sport wrap. You can totally get it just at any um, Walgreens, Target, whatever. It's that stretchy kind of sticks, self-adhesive, whatever. Gauze, alcohol wipes, some tweezers, some little scissors, just the basic first aid stuff. Um, Chews. You said that when you said treats. Chews. I find especially because if a dog is a little bit stressed, they're more likely to want to really chew on something. And last thing you want them to do is be like, "I think I would like to try your shoe for the first time in my life."
Yep.
We're not gonna do that. Uh, so I added something to cover mirrors. Lucky does not like mirrors. Bless him. He does not get that that's a mirror dog. After a few minutes, he quits, but he'll pitch a fit. But I also think that's just a good idea because you never know when a dog might decide a mirror is a problem in a weird place. So I think that might not be a bad idea for anybody. They might see a reflection from a light or something, and I'm like, I'm just gonna cover it all up.
Or they
I think
could
it's just easier.
think, how much is that egg in the mirror?
We don't need that. Okay, so now I'm gonna go off on flying. I have flown with an Iggy. So I will start this with a tale of a young Dolce. And we were gonna go skiing in Colorado, me, my mom, and Dolce. And I got her. First of all, you have to make sure you have an airline approved carrier. You can't just get the cutest little things you want. They have to be a certain size, and then I think pretty much the basic ones that they sell at like PetSmart. I think Delta even sells it. It has like the Delta thing on there. It has to be, it has to have some mesh. It has to be fit under the seat. Blah 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 blah. So we talked to our vet, and they're like, I am not saying this. I am not a vet. My vet straight up said, like, you can give her a little bit of Benadryl to get her just a little bit relaxed. Not my current vet. This is like years and years and years ago, y'all. So we drove her around in that pet carrier a lot and on the floorboard a lot. And we got on the plane and everything was fine. And as soon as that plane took off, she chewed through the zipper, like destroyed the bag and was out. So, so then we had this. I mean, as soon as she was out, she was fine. But her little 7-pound self, detached the zipper from the rest of the case.
Oh my
So we get
gosh.
to, I guess we probably flew into Texas. We bought shoelaces to try to hook it back together and called the vet. And they're like, yeah, just give her some Benadryl. And when you get there, we'll contact a different vet and get her some actual sedatives. Then she chewed out the shoelaces from the holes we had created. So she was in my lap again. And flight attendants don't like that. You do that. So I would say get some sedatives, even if you don't think they won't need them, because you might need it on the second leg of your trip. But we
Yeah.
went there, we were skiing, and we found a great vet, and they got the sedatives. So I wrote there also, bring a backup carrier because we were desperate in the airport trying to find some way to put her back in this carrier.
I'm gonna add to the Benadryl thing because that is something also to take with you if you're traveling, not flying, but just in general. Taking some Benadryl with you in case they're having a reaction. And
Yep.
then if you do have anti-anxiety medicine for your dog, like Barry has some that's prescribed for him that he doesn't get hardly at all, but I still take it in case we're put in a situation where he's probably going to need it. So
Yep.
back to flying.
Um, yeah, and don't just go willy nilly giving them Benadryl. You need to look it up. You need to check with your vet first how many milligrams to give to your dog because it is a fact that they do metabolize it differently than humans. So you need to make sure you're giving them the right milligrams per their pound. Because my goofy self was like, oh, I'll buy the baby Benadryl. And I was like, I got it backwards. They metabolize it faster. So then I was like, well, that's my Benadryl now. This was like back when I had L.
When in doubt,
Anywho,
ask your vet.
yeah, like Reagan says, to carry that folder with you, definitely on the airplane. When you are reserving a plane ticket for your dog, I have never checked a dog as luggage. I think, why are you even listening to this podcast if you're someone who would do that? Clearly, you're a person who's taking them on the plane with you. um, you'll have to like say that way up front when you buy it because then they have to make sure no one's on the plane that has an allergy to dogs and it's a lot of red tape. So you're already going to have your proof of vaccines and stuff, but carry it with you just in case something goes wrong on their end and they say, oh, we don't have it. Well, you okay, boom, here it is. Put their tags on them or have their tags with you, right, with the rabies vaccines and everything. If they have a microchip, I would say grab their microchip numbers and information too. Vet prescribed sedatives. Make sure you have the medication.
Get it, Lucky.
Lucky.
I'm doing a little dance, everybody. I'm trying to do a tap dance.
He's trying to flip his bed over. Like I said, go ahead and get a vet prescribed sedative, even if you think you're not going to need it, and bring the prescription with you.
Hi,
Are
Lucky.
you having fun, Lucky?
Yeah, this is my podcast.
He is up and at 'em tonight.
Okay, so to kind of end our little episode, I did post a poll on Instagram. And I think I did it too late because only one person responded. That's okay. I'm pretty sure we covered everything that you could cover about this topic anyway, so it would probably be really repetitive. So, Miss Misha said that she would pack a travel bag with a blanket and water, food, clothes, a collar, or actually, she said collar, so
Colors. This
she
is
wants,
Misha we're talking
yeah,
about.
changes of collars and leashes, toys, treats, toothbrush, and toothpaste.
Which we should have mentioned that. That was smart. Actually, yeah. Because, I mean, we do use toothbrush and toothpaste for our dogs. And the last thing you need is them getting a hold of chew toy and it's all stuck up in their teeth.
Hmm.
Goodness. And actually, that's a really good idea. Collars and leashes in case something snaps or breaks. That's a good idea.
True. Yeah.
Even for us less fashionable folks.
So thank you, Misha, for letting us know what you would take on vacation with you if you were going with your mom or dad. Okay. Well, do we have anything else to add?
Oh, I would probably also say wherever you're traveling to with your dog, go ahead, look ahead, and see where the nearest vet and emergency vets are.
And pet friendly
Which when we go
places.
to dog shows, they're listed on that for us, so that's kind of convenient. But yeah, if you don't have that already prepared for you, that's some good planning ahead.
Oh, and we can include this too. So, when traveling with your pets, make sure ahead of time that the place that you have booked to stay is pet friendly because not all
Oh,
hotels are pet friendly, not all Airbnbs are pet friendly. You have to make sure they are, and if they require a pet deposit or a pet fee, or they need to know ahead of time that you're bringing a pet. Normally, if you're going to a dog show, on the premium list, there will be a list of different pet friendly hotels, motels, those different areas. And they'll have like a hallway split off for people that have pets. But that's not always going to be the case. So you have to let them know ahead of time, hey, I'm bringing a pet. So when you make your reservation, go ahead and disclose that information. I feel like there was something else I was going to add to that, but I don't really know for sure. I cannot remember. If you're going someplace with beaches, make sure the beaches you're going to are pet friendly. Make sure you're taking sunblock, UV um, shirts, different things like that for the sun. It really just depends on where you're going with your pets. Um,
for example, down here, the beach exactly where I live does is not dog friendly. One city over it is,
yep.
and in the other direction, one city over it is. But you don't know where that line splits and where it doesn't.
Yeah. And if your trip is going to be like heavily uh, having your dog with you most of the time, make sure the places you're going and eating and your activities are going to be dog friendly. Like, you don't want to plan a trip somewhere and then you find out nowhere around here is pet friendly. They're going to have to stay in the room
Yep,
the whole time. That kind of sucks. So make sure you do your research before you start
that's just a
planning.
couple Google searches
Yeah.
away. Yeah.
Yeah. That's all we have. Do we have any news, any upcoming stuff?
So our local Mississippi Gulf Coast Kennel Club in Gulfport, Mississippi, April 5th through 7th, we're having Barkin' Good Time. We're going to have a bee match on the 6th and 7th. That's going to be my first experience with stewarding. I figured I would start in a realm where I can't really mess anything up.
Yeah.
And we'll see if I can mess something up. They're going to do fetch trials, CGC, trick dog. There's going to be fast cat. I think we might be doing fit dog and bee cat even. Like they're doing a lot. I can't wait till Ben is old enough to do fast cat. Boy,
Yeah.
you get him in the yard. He
You need to do
loves
barn
it.
hunt with him too.
He's just gonna love all of it. But he's
Yeah.
definitely gonna need one from Fast Cat. And April 4th is when we start back with obedience. So that means the following week we start back with handling classes, confirmation classes. So we can get Ben back and busy in that. after Disney World.
Yeah. So you're gonna be gone for how long?
Spring break.
Well, we just had this is our spring break right now, so
So next week. But Mom is going to be here and back and forth between our house and her house. And, yeah.
yeah. So for my updates, I just when you were talking about stewarding, it made me think of this. So I do kind of have an update. I've got a fetch trial coming up in April, like beginning of April. I volunteered to go help with that and kind of shadow because I can accept judging assignments for that, but I kind of want to go watch at least a trial or two to see how it's run and how they do it. Watch the judges because it is so new.
It
So I
sounds like
did,
it could be really interesting if you had a good turnout.
yes, and I think they are going to have a really good turnout. So I'm planning on going to that and helping out and watching. And then I'm also working on, and I say working on, I just have to do it. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. But I'm going to test for judging temperament testing. So I'll have that on my list of things I can judge. Because right
Oh,
now
you
I'm
know
just,
Ben's going to pass that one.
yeah. Well,
Flying
yeah,
colors.
yeah, he will. He'll be fine with
But we're
that.
going to wait till after he gets past his second fear stage. I don't want to mess anything up.
Mhm. Yeah. So, like right now, I can judge CGC stuff, Trick Dog, Virtual Home Manners, and Fetch. I added recently, but AT&T,
Sponsor!
ATT.
I always think that when I see ATT
I know.
test.
That's something extra to be tacked on, and I just haven't done it yet. So,
What does it actually stand for, Reagan?
AKC temperament testing. There's also TT, which is temperament testing, and it's a little bit harder. It's like a step up from AKCs, and there are some clubs that recognize that as being a
I didn't know
title,
that.
but not all clubs do. It's a little different. So they
Interesting.
do,
We'll get into that on a future date.
yeah, it's different. But yeah, that's what I'm working on. Next shows are not going to be until May.
Yep, mine's not until school's out.
So I've been planning those. A premium list came up for the one in Bossier City. So I'm going to start planning that soon and getting my hotel booked. So that's pretty much it. Just a lot of work stuff. Nothing really interesting.
I taught Ben to spin in 5 minutes.
Oh,
Starting tacking on those tricks. That way, when he does his
yeah.
CGC, we can go ahead and
Get
knock
him
out Trick
straight
Dog at the
dog.
same time.
Yeah.
Yep.
That'll be
Yep.
fun. Outro. Here's your outro. So we will see you, talk to you, not next week, but the week after, because we're going to do every other week now. If you have any ideas for upcoming episodes, send us a message. Let us know. If you have a question for us, do the same. Be on the lookout for some posts because even though we are not putting out episodes every other week, well, until every other week, there may be a post every now and then. Just something fun because I do have some saved that we just haven't put out yet. So there you go. We will talk to you next week or the week after.
See you next
I don't know.
month.
Oh, ew. Yeah. We'll see you
Ah!
next month.
Bye
Bye.
bye.